We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for today, which is Thursday, July 13th. We'll have our invocation by Pastor Francisco Artley of Midway United Methodist Church, and after that, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. Please come forward, Pastor. A little birdie told me that you have received your doctorate of business administration. We're very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Give
you.
you a hand
Appreciate
for
it.
that. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening. Please stand for the invocation.
In Paul's letter to the Romans, he writes, "Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires, but those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires." And it's Paul's way of saying that those who focus on themselves leads to death. It leads to being possessed by the world and being just a person who is just chained to the world. Whereas those who think in the Spirit, those who think of God and think of Christ as what he's done for us and set their mind in all the decisions they make that come from God, that their mind is set in heaven, that's where they'll be versus being here. So all decisions that I ask that the council makes, that they consult with God and they ask God for wisdom and guidance in all their decisions and not rely on themselves. Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for our mayor, Lord. I thank you for the city council, Lord. I ask that you give them wisdom and strength in all the work that they do for our city, Lord. I just thank you for their servant hearts. And Lord, I ask that you bless them, and I ask that you bless this meeting. And I just ask that your presence is here with them, Lord. And I just thank you for being a part of our life. But Lord, most of all, I thank you for our Son, your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Pastor Francisco, again, for the invocation. We appreciate your time. You're welcome. I'll go over a few things before the meeting starts, just to have us stay in compliance with our agenda and our procedures for tonight. I'd like to again welcome you to the City of Douglasville's legislative work session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion, and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken on these items discussed tonight on Monday, July 17th at 6 p.m. If the business you are here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item that has comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start this meeting. I ask that you would just listen closely, just a few things. I ask that you keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make their decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or groups. And we'll ask that one person speaks at a time, and please do not applaud or have reactions to the speaker that will be disruptive during their presentations. I ask that you, if you have any electronic devices, cell phones, iPads, tablets, and all of that, if you would please put those in silent mode or turn those off so that they will not be disruptive during the meeting. The agenda items will be handled as follows. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then the person representing the agenda item or the applicant will make his or her presentation first. And then that would be the opportunity for you to present the information, and then the mayor and council members will possibly ask questions from the applicant to seek additional information. And after, the committee chair will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There will be a maximum of time limit for 30 minutes for those who speak in favor of the agenda item. The applicant will present, and then 30 minutes for those speaking in opposition of the item. Each person has 5-minute time frame as a limit, and the city clerk will put that timer on, and you'll hear a ringing or some kind of, like a doorbell or something, to tell you that your 5 minutes are up. Each person has one opportunity to speak, and it's not a debate format. And please address your comments to the chair, not the members of the audience. And we would ask that there's a form that you need to fill out if you want to speak under comments for citizens and delegates or for agenda items. Please give your name and address for the record, and then we welcome you to come to the podium and speak. Okay, those are all of our procedural issues, and we'll go on to the agenda for tonight. The first committee, we don't have any announcements or presentations to present, right? Okay, I don't see any. Okay, the first committee is Public Safety, and that's chaired by Councilmember Sam Davis.
Yes, ma'am. I have one item. It's item A, requesting for the change in agent outlet manager for alcoholic beverages license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverage at the following establishment. License ALDINC DBA ALDI number 11, location 2990 Chapel Hill Road. Current agent outlet manager Cassandra Battle. Proposed agent outlet manager Casey O'Brien. The required fees have been paid into the finance department. Will the applicant come down? If you hear, state your name. And applicant, please come down.
Mr. Chair, is this Aldi's, the grocery store? Okay.
My name is Casey O'Brien, Aldi Douglasville, store 11.
Okay, your
Requesting
name.
a change from the previous store manager to myself.
Okay. Okay, questions from the council.
You've been a store manager before?
I've been with Aldi for 7 years.
Okay, so I guess you have. And you know all the requirements in regards to alcohol, showing your license and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir, we sure do.
Oh, one more thing. Does the, when you're buying alcohol, does the cash register pop up and tell you that you have to key in the, you know, the
Yes, sir.
birth date and all that?
It does.
Okay,
At the
great.
end of the sale, you have to key in the birth date.
Very good. Thank you.
How often are your staff trained?
Whenever we first hire, we go through a training process, but every month we have a staff meeting and we go over all the procedures for the store.
Right, thank you.
What are your hours of operation, please?
We open at 9 in the morning and close at 8 p.m.
There's Councilman Watts, you good? Okay. Come back on Monday and we'll give you a decision, please.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving to item B. Application received from Twisted Restaurant Group, LLC, DBA, Twisted Pickle Tavern. Request for the alcoholic beverages license for the sale on the premises consumption of wine, malt beverages, and spirit liquor at the following establishment. License, Twisted Restaurant Group, LLC, DBA Twisted Pickle Tavern, location 2123 Fairburn Road. Proposed agent outlet manager, Beverly Clemens. The required fees have been paid into the finance department. Would the applicant please come down and state your name and position? The address, please.
Beverly Clements, home address 4758 Poolcrest Court, Winston, Georgia 30187.
So this is I'll let the councilman go ahead. Go ahead.
This is a new license, a new business. First off, I want to thank you for choosing the city of Douglasville for your business. We recognize that when a business opens, you've got a choice of where you locate, and you've made that decision to do it here in the city of Douglasville, and you've got longtime ties to Douglasville and Douglas County, so we appreciate that. As a new business, you got all new employees. How do you train them in following our alcohol ordinances?
We are bringing in each of our alcohol reps actually next week, starting the training with our staff, so they are very aware of what they're selling, forms of ID, and also consumption levels. So that way they are going to be trained and no one leaves overserved without a ride.
Or that no minors are served, right?
Absolutely not. I have an 18-year-old. That's not happening.
That's all I have.
Good thing. Have you, Ms. Clement, have you ever managed your operation before? that have serve alcohol and food and all this?
Yes, sir. I was with the Center Arbor Connection for 8 years under Sam and Roscoe's, and then also with Fairfield Plantation for the last 3 years at their country club.
And you do have the training, the people to come in and do the training, and the cash registers that would notify if they're underage?
With the POS systems that are with restaurants, unfortunately, it does not prompt to put in 21. However, we are going to have security at the door that is IDing before they walk in, plus they're going to be trained to look at the ID. Unfortunately, it's just not a POS system that restaurants have.
Council members?
I was just going to say, good to see you back, Ms. Clemens. Remember you from Sam and Roscoe's. It's good to have you back in the community.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson.
You're welcome.
And the location of the restaurant is?
Fairburn.
2123 Fairburn Road, Douglasville, Georgia,
Where the
30135.
Bones location used to be. Okay, all right. I was trying to find it here, so, very good.
Are you trying to find it, Councilman?
No, I was trying to find it on my computer.
After you find it, we have a little public hearing.
Okay.
Definitely invited to the open house.
And when are you planning on opening?
We're aiming for July the 31st.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to Douglasville, in regards to the restaurant, not you.
Thank you.
Find it?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Okay. Madam Mayor?
I'm good, sir. No, sir.
Well, right now we want to hold a public hearing for all those that in favor of the applicant. Come down and give you 5 minutes to speak, or be able to hold your peace. Well, anyone want to speak against it? Come on down and, well, I guess we're good to go. We're good to go. Deputy Chief, everything good? Well, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then come back on Monday and we'll give you a decision, okay? Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Community and Economic Development Committee. The Vice Chair is Councilmember Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have one item. That item is to reappoint April McCown, Main Street Manager, as the City of Douglasville's representative to serve a 1-year term on the Board of Directors of the Cultural Arts Council of Douglasville, Douglas County.
We do have time for Ms. McCowan to be interviewed by you on Monday night at 5 p.m. unless you decide that you know her well enough that you are, would like to continue to have her serve on the CAC board, but it's at your pleasure.
Does anyone here think we need to interview Mrs. McCown on Monday?
No, sir.
I don't think we need to interview her, but I'd like to hear how it's gone for her this past year. Just
Bring her in. And that, therefore, I will not request to put this on the consent agenda. Any other comments or questions from the council?
No, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right, then that's all we have, Madam Mayor, under this committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chairman. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee. Vice Chair is Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey.
Yes, I have 3 items. First of all, we're going to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a church or a place of worship for property Zone CN, Neighborhood Commercial District, for 0.56 acres at 8709 Hospital Drive in Land Lot 50, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 105. Application by Dwayne E. Davis. Mr. Davis, are you here?
I don't see the applicant here. I can make sure that he's here on Monday night. If you have any questions, I can answer any questions at this time.
I have a question. I know the zoning board voted in favor of this. Did they indicate any kind of special stipulation in terms of period of time?
No, they did not.
Okay, thank you.
This is an application for a new special land use permit for a church. It's not a renewal.
There was already a church there, but this is a
One.
different church.
Okay. I'm going to hold the public hearing now. And if there's anyone in support of this, you have 30 minutes to make make your concerns. If you're against it, you have also 30 minutes. And each person has 5 minutes. So anyone would like to come forward may do so. For or against. Okay, now I'm going to close the public hearing, and we will go ahead and discuss this and vote on it on Monday. Okay, my second item is hold a public hearing and consider request for a change in zoning from CG General Commercial District to IL Light Industrial District for a 25.84 acres in land lot 163, District 2, Section 5, formerly part of the Parcel 21, application by SL Brightstar 2 LLC.
Chairman Joe Fowler here on behalf of the applicant. Allow me to introduce Dan Lacey, who is here in the blue jacket. Next to him, also part of the applicant, is Ugo Orsini, straight from Italy, Howard Ray, and Speedy Boutwell. February, you may remember, SL Brightstar presented an application before the council for the rezoning of approximately 40 acres on Brightstar Road from CG to light industrial. That was approved by the city on March the 6th. At that time, the city and SL Brightstar entered into a development agreement requiring SL Brightstar to complete all of the roadway improvements anticipated by the DRI, and to do so at its expense. All of those traffic improvements are under design at this point and will be constructed concurrently with the construction of the buildings, which, as you know, is also underway. The 40 acres approved in the February rezoning is just south of what you might call the city's industrial buildings in the downtown Douglasville area. They lie between Highway 5 and Brightstar Road. It begins at Highway 78 and it just comes southward several hundred feet. The 48 acres approved in February is just adjacent to that. That project, as you may have seen, is well along the way. They're waiting for a building permit. It's already been cleared. They've got a land disturbance permit. And I am now free to announce that the tenant is Anderson Windows, a national manufacturing and logistics facility with, at final build-out, a total of 1,000 employees at that site. On a national level, you may know Anderson has over...
You said
Anderson.
how many employees?
1,000.
1,000, okay.
On a national level, Anderson has over 10,000 employees, annual sales in excess of $2 billion. It's been in existence over 75 years. It's a great addition to the city of Douglasville. Just to further explain, to refresh your memory, the Anderson project is in 2 phases, as explained at that time. The first is a building of 250,000 square feet, or roughly that, and a building permit, as I mentioned, is being sought right at this point. There'll be an expansion in about 2 years for an additional 345,000 square feet. The particular application before the council tonight was filed on June the 2nd, 2017, and it is apparent to the developer that the city of Douglasville is a good place to be. The request is to rezone and grant a map amendment that's already been before you as it concerns the plat itself, because it's, you may recall, part of a larger 40-plus acre parcel. But it's a 25.84 acre parcel that is immediately to the south of Wood Road, which forms the southern border of the 40 acre parcel. The 25 acres fronts all along Brightstar Road, and then, of course, it'll be on the north, bounded by Wood Road. It's going to extend southward down to a 7.77 acre parcel that is the intersection of Brightstar Road and the Brightstar connector. This tract has no frontage on the Brightstar connector. The 7 acre tract is a CG parcel and is scheduled to remain CG. The parcel that adjoins the easterly portion of this 25 acre tract is also CG. This was presented to the Planning and Zoning Board on Wednesday, and after a hearing and questioning, the board voted unanimously to recommend approval to the council. On this 25-acre tract, the developer proposes to build a 362,000 square foot building, similar in design to the two buildings that will be constructed on the 40-acre site. Depending on demand, it may be divided internally into pods, but that just depends on how the market goes. There is no current tenant for this building at this point, but it's being offered for lease by SL Brightstar, which is actually a division of the Silverman Group, and it's being offered to a number of the existing tenants that Silverman currently has in other properties, including Amazon, Lennox, Pepsi, and Ingersoll Rand. As a part of the 40-acre development and the associated DRI requirements, the county has required SL Brightstar to make major improvements along Brightstar Road from Brightstar Connector all the way north past Woods Road. Those changes to the roadway will also serve this particular tract. We've already begun discussions with the DOT about any further improvements that may be necessary as a result of this particular development, and the owner is prepared to address any additional requirements that will be imposed in the same manner that it's doing with respect to the DRI. With your permission, Mr. Ray will discuss more about these issues at this particular point, and he's going to elaborate on the significant difference between traffic generated from a light industrial site as contrasted to traffic generated from a general commercial site. And it'll, as you'll see, it is a significant difference. Much less traffic generated by the light industrial. So, with your permission, Madam Mayor and Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
My name's Howard Ray, Hughes Ray Company, 6554 East Church Street, right down the road. I'll try to be brief, but so we can go to questions. But basically, just to summarize the existing design that's ongoing to improvements to the roadway system so that you know what is underway right now. So from the north end of this property, which is basically about where Larry Fortner's office is, I think it's F3 or L3 Communications, I can't remember his name, company name, but anyway, basically from that point all the way to the connector, we're designing and permitting a 3-lane section. So that entire section will be 3 lanes. There will be a taper section coming off the existing 2-lane, but we are committing to build 3 lanes complete to that point. A lot of times you'll see developers do that taper in, and then it comes back and gets widened in the future, and in 10 years you see a crack, diagonal crack through that lane. So we have committed to go ahead and building that full because we believe that in the future it will be 3 lanes. So that's one piece. Second piece is Wood Road will be a 3-lane all the way back to the eastern property line. Therefore, setting up for development as it moves east down towards the connector, towards 5, so that it could be a 3-lane road through there. So that's what's committed to in Phase 1. As you may remember, Phase 2 has to come back before the council for the development plan of that expansion, and at that point in time, we'll be working again with Douglas County DOT relative to additional improvements. Some of the improvements they've mentioned to date relative to that is either improving Wood Road all the way to the east to Gurley, Gurley being improved all the way to the south to the connector for that connection point, and or continuing the 3-lane improvement up to 78. So those are the things that are under discussion right now. A lot of that will be dependent on what type of right-of-way needs the design dictates and how the design works within that. So we are, as an engineer, having conversations with those property owners on Wood Road and Gurley to set the stage for that. How about that? So that's what we have ongoing. I would like to, I believe you have in your packet, go and talk specifically to the trip generation comparison. It's a spreadsheet format. So I'm going to go through it relatively quickly, try not to get too technical. You know, us engineers, we love to get down in the weeds, so please stop me if I do, but I will go through it quickly.
Just
so
want to
basically,
point out, that's on page 24 of our attachment.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So these are some generic analysis. Since we don't know what the specific tenant, this is based off of the Institute of Transportation Engineering booklets. This is a nationwide booklet that assigns trip generations to square footage and usage. So basically, roughly, the site is roughly 40 acres. It's currently commercial, general commercial. Basically, the assumption that was made with this analysis is that for every acre, but roughly 10,000 square foot of commercial building occupy that. So basically, 25% of the property is a building. So with that, basically, total car trips would be roughly 10,500. Total truck trips would be 350. Going in a little further depth, you study down to a peak AM trip generation and a peak PM trip generation. And basically what you're doing there is you're trying to find when the existing road and the existing facility will peak together. Okay, so that's basically what that's setting up. So with that, you'll see in the AM, you got 227 cars generated and 7 trucks. In the PM, 946, and then 29 trucks. So stepping down to what we're proposing, roughly going into the industrial category, you can see that the cars dropped from 10,500 down to 2,000 for the day. The trucks increased from 350 to 502. So you're basically talking about a roughly estimate of 150 additional trucks in a 24-hour period. I think the big thing you want to point out there is your peak hours. You're basically seeing 60 trucks in the morning and 48 in the afternoon. Now, this is running some standard modeling. You know, what I would point out is that typically you're going to see the receivables, in other words, the product coming into the shop is going to come in overnight. So they're not dealing with that traffic so they can be unloading in the morning. You know, the outbound is going to be more sporadic through the day, but this modeling does not take that into account is what I was trying to point out. So with that said, high level, with the ARC study, traffic study we did for them with the DRI with phase 1 and phase 2, their recommendations for roadway improvements were strictly Wood Road and that interchange. They did not even recommend the 3-laning of Bright Star. They did recommend a right turn in, a left turn in, and a left turn out, right turn out. So I'm just really saying that because I want you to understand that we have committed to going ahead and doing that. I think it's roughly 2,800 lineal feet of taking it from a 2-lane road section to a 3-lane road section. So that's through working with the city as well with Douglas County DOT. And my point there is that we have invested a significant amount of investment to address the city's concerns. So I'm gonna stop there and let's start the questions. I think that'll be easier than for me to continue throwing data at you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Vice Chairman? Pro Tem? The road improvements, that does not include any sidewalks, does it?
Yes, sir. Along the entire frontage of the development of what's going on right now, phase 1 and phase 2, which would be from that upper property limits to, I think it's just a little bit below, actually it's 500 feet below Wood Road where the right turn lane would come in. That whole area will have curb and gutter and sidewalk. Now, with this project, as we develop it, per your code, we'll be looking at sidewalk and curb and gutter all the way down, tying down into the intersection of the connector.
What about street lights?
Street lights are required, yes, sir. And we're in the process. We'll be moving some power poles, and just so you guys know, the entire widening of Bright Star will be coming to the project side in an effort to minimize the impact to the neighbors.
Any other questions before we open up the?
I will have a question for Mr. Fowler, though.
Okay.
Just wanted to make a comment, Mr. Vice Chair. Our recommending body, our Planning and Zoning Board, did approve the applicant, but 4 out of the 5 members who were present did want to address improvements to the road and traffic and all of that. So it is a concern, just because, of course, it's
That was
an
the
area
nature
that
of
would
the
put more
discussion
traffic on
largely.
Highway 5. Yes, sir.
How would address those. And Mr. Batwell has more specific information if you'd like to hear any beyond that. Yes, sir.
My question is not really about this parcel, but there's a parcel at the corner of Wood Road and Bright Star that SL Bright Star 3 LLC has acquired, and that parcel is actually outside of the city limits. I was just wanting to get some context. Is that going to be combined in with this, or is it going to be kept separate, or what's going on with that?
It is not part of this particular project at all and will never be. And Dan, you want to address anything with respect to the parcel that he's mentioned? Is it the 5.86 or the 7.77?
I think it's 5.86, right at the intersection of Wood Road and...
Adjoining this 25 acres?
Yeah, if you look at the map of this acreage, there's a notch in the
I'm sorry.
northwest corner.
I thought you were talking about Bright Star Connector.
No, Bright Star Road and Wood Road.
We have acquired that parcel.
Right.
And that will be part of the turning lane that goes into the project site. The house is being removed and it's part of the project site.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of a different parcel.
All right, so it's just helps with the road work that you're
That's
going to be
exactly
doing.
right. It had to be
Okay.
acquired for that purpose. It was closed about a month ago.
Is it going to be annexed in the city to do that, or is it going to stay county, or how does that work?
Yes, please.
That's all right, you're good. Howard Ray, 6554 East Church Street. Yes, sir, it is the intent for that tract to be annexed in and eventually combined. Due to the nature of our improvements right now, it's not necessary to do that, but that is the step that we will be taking in the near future.
Okay. That's not in our package. I just
Yes,
found
sir.
that with my own research outside of this. So, thank you.
I'm also noticing property on the south side of Bright Star Road, or I'm sorry, Bright Star Connector. Is that part of this too then?
That is part of this, let me rephrase that. It was a part of the original track, and it's already was subdivided based on where Bright Star Connector was constructed, but it was part of the original track, okay? So you had that, which I believe is 5.5 acres, and then we did a lot split of the remaining property to the north of the connector, which created a 7.77. I guess y'all can wonder figure out what my favorite number is. Parcel right there, and then the industrial track above that.
And we voted on that new
Yeah.
plat last month.
Yes, sir. Did that answer?
Yes.
So it's not part of this application.
Correct. Yeah. The intent is to maintain that commercial corridor on the connector.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, then thank you. Then I'm going to open it up for the.
Thank you.
If I can get it back here. Okay, now that you've heard what we're planning on here, this is the public hearing for this particular project. So I am opening up for anyone that is for or against this particular project. Seeing none, okay. I'm going to close the public hearing, and we will take this up on Monday. Thank you very much. Mhm. Okay, my third question or item. Consider request for amendment to the city's Douglasville future land use plan from regional activity center to light industrial, 2584 acres in land lot 163, District 2, Section 5, formerly part of the Parcel 21 application made by Bright Star 2 LLC. And go ahead.
I would only repeat the things we previously said. This is an
Correct.
integral part of the application is necessary to permit the rezoning to light industrial.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And any other questions from council? All right. Then no more items, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. Handled very well on your other committees. We'll move on to item 8, which is Parks and Recreation Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do not have any items tonight under Parks and Rec.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to Finance Committee, that's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey.
Yes, I have one item, and that is adopt a resolution enacting a purchasing policy for city staff.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, Operations Manager, 6695 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia. As we discussed in committee's meeting, staff is proposing an update to the existing purchasing policy. This policy will not affect any DOT contractual arrangements, any road projects, or any purchases of property rights or right-of-ways or such of that. This policy will actually streamline our purchasing process that we have right now, as well as the bid process. It'll include cooperative procurement, any local supplier options will be included as well, sole source procurement, any split bid awards it addresses as well. That's pretty much what the policy says. Are there any questions?
No, we discussed this pretty extensively in committee a few minutes ago. Any questions or comments from council and mayor? Okay.
And there will be changes that were noted from the committee's meeting. We'll
Okay.
note those changes and send them out to mayor and council.
All right, and then what we'll do is have you come up then on Monday and note those changes, and then we'll vote.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and that's all I have for the Finance Committee tonight.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Information and Technology Committee that's chaired by Councilmember Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight.
Thank you, sir. Maintenance and Sanitation Committee will have committee member Councilman Samuel Davis.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for being ready. I appreciate that. Transportation Committee that's chaired by Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley.
No items, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Personnel and Organization Committee. All right, Councilman Siegel, you take it away.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have several items tonight.
Yes, sir.
First item is to adopt a resolution approving the one job slot for Parks Manager. We have our HR Director, Tia Alston, here to guide us through these.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tia Alston, City of Douglasville, Human Resources, 6695 Church Street. These items tonight that are under this committee, again, will be regarding several personnel requests for FY18. The first item A, to approve one job slot for the Parks Manager position. We currently have this position in our organizational structure in the Parks Department. This position has been approved in the FY18 budget, and the Parks Director has assessed the needs of the hierarchy in the department, has determined that one Parks Manager position is needed to support the department. If there are any questions about the position, I'll be happy to take those.
Any comments or questions from Mayor and Council? No? We'll move on to the next item then. Adopt an ordinance to amend section 11-11 of the Personal Policies and Procedures Ordinance of the City of Douglasville to allow certain employees to exchange sick leave for extra pay.
Yes, this item also is a recommendation to amend the PPP to allow for a sick leave buyback program incentive. This is also one of the incentives that we brought before you the beginning of the year, which would allow for full-time eligible employees to exchange up to 24 hours of sick leave for their hourly rate if they're an hourly employee, or their salaried hourly rate if they are a salaried employee. We are looking to implement that program November 1st of this year. And if you have any questions regarding that, I'll be happy to take those.
Comments or questions from Mayor and Council? No? We'll move on to the next item. Adopt a resolution approving a revision of the office coordinator job description and adopting a new organizational chart for the administration department.
Yes. This item is a request to amend the office coordinator job description to include the administration department, specifically the support for the mayor's office. We do have an employee, Ms. Regina Chapman, that's currently serving in this role. So we'd like to officially add this department to the job description.
Any comments from Mayor or Council?
Thank you very much.
We'll keep moving. Adopt a resolution increasing the number of certified law enforcement officer positions within the City of Douglasville from 97 to 101 in efforts to increase crime prevention measures for the safety of all of the citizens and visitors to the City of Douglasville.
Thank you. This item also is an additional personnel request for the police department. It would allow us to add 4 vacancies for the patrol officer in the police department, and would allow us to also recruit for those positions immediately. And again, it would increase the personnel the positions for patrol as it relates to personnel for FY18 was also approved in the budget.
Any comments from mayor or council? Any comments from Deputy Chief Shaw?
Just request it gets approved.
All right, and our final item is to adopt a resolution approving one job slot for commercial sanitation driver.
And this last item also was approved in the budget for FY18. It will allow the sanitation department to add an additional commercial sanitation driver. We would like to start recruiting for that position right away as well to assist Mr. Roberts in his efforts for operations.
Any comments from mayor or council? No. Any comments from Mr. Roberts? No. All right, then, if there are no objections, I would like to have all 5 of these items placed on the consent agenda for Monday's meeting.
I think that'll work. Mm-hmm.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee, and that is Vice Chair is Dr. LaShawn Bird-Danley.
No items, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. There's one.
Sorry.
Adopt an ordinance to amend. Is it on here?
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. You weren't prepared for
Yes,
this.
one item, adopt an ordinance to amend section 2-46 of the administration ordinance to set the first regular council meeting in January to be held on the second Monday in January.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor and council, it always becomes squirrely at the end of the year, and no, squirrely is probably not an official word, that at the first meeting of the year, that first Monday and the previous Thursday is typically in December. It becomes complicated when it's an election year and you're possibly splitting elected bodies. So in order to alleviate that, after talking with the clerk's office, our recommendation is that moving forward, you move that first meeting in January to the second Monday. That would prevent that from happening in the future.
Okay.
So are we looking at January 8th?
For 2018, sorry, gotta pull up my calendar. Got it. For 2018, we would be looking at January 8th. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
And this wouldn't require a charter change. I don't think the charter specifies the dates like that. It's in the administration ordinance only. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Moving forward in the 2018 year legislative work session would be Thursday the 4th. So that would give folks a decent break between
Right.
There's likely to be a special called meeting on that day, though, so that we could vote on Mayor Pro Tem and get the mayor's assignments for committees, correct?
Correct, but it would not conflict with New Year's Eve or Christmas.
When swearing in, too.
Yeah.
Forgot that.
That is correct.
Okay, so the legislative meeting is going to be on the 4th, and the voting meeting is going to be on the 8th.
Correct.
Correct. And usually on that first meeting, Mr. Siegel's correct. We usually do a special meeting where we swear folks in. But this would allow that we're not trying to call you guys back in right at the day after New Year's. It will create some break between those times.
Okay, thank you for the grace. All right, if there are no questions, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda. All right, no other items, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. We'll move on to Education and Training Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No items at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any other business to come before the body tonight from council members? Any announcements or anything? Oh, the chief talked to me about your town hall or information session.
There's a few things that went on this week. On Monday, of course, was the last food truck Monday, and that was incredible. No rain, hot though, but it was great. Tuesday morning, I attended the meeting it's a quarterly meeting of the Joint Development Authorities of Metropolitan Atlanta, where 6 different authorities come together and share their information with each other. And the Douglas County Economic Development Authority hosted this quarter's meeting at the Red Cross in Ward 5. So got to listen to the issues that they're discussing, had delicious food catered by Gabe's downtown,
Good.
and then took a tour of the facility there at Red Cross,
very
even though I
nice.
go past it constantly. I've never been inside before. So that was great. And then Wednesday morning, I don't know if Deputy Chief Shaw will mention this when we get to her report. But we had a great chat with the chief down at the Tributary Tennis Center that was very well attended. Every seat was taken. And I got a lot of positive feedback from the citizens who showed up for that, and that was great. And then, of course, last night, you want to talk about Wednesday wind down last night?
I'd rather hear from you.
I'm done.
No, go ahead, Richard.
I'm done.
I don't know what we're going to do. We have thousands out there now. Richard is one of the witnesses. So also we had a Little League tournament, and it was great. And it's a great event, and I invite everyone to come out and witness it for yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilman Siegel and Councilman Davis. Any other reports from council members? I apologize for missing the meeting on Wednesday. I did speak with the chief. I met with the county and the tax office, and so we were the finance director and I were invited to that meeting with Tax Commissioner Baker, and we were asked to help bring some of our policies in conjunction with the county so that we can stay on top of tax collection and delinquencies and appraisers and all that, assessors. So it was a great meeting, but that's why I missed the meeting on that Wednesday morning. But that was a very good meeting to attend. Excited about that. Okay, we'll move on down the line. Our city attorney isn't in this evening, so we'll move on to Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Susan Littlefield.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Our Deputy Chief of Police, Sue Ann Shaw.
Yes, Madam Mayor. We did have the chat with the chief of the Tributary. It was very successful. Like he said, there was a big crowd there. We had our command staff there to answer their questions, and we'll be planning more in the future. We put them out on our Facebook page, and we encourage everybody to attend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for continuing to be community policing and going out to the citizens rather than when it's an emergency, but all the time, speaking with them. Thank you so much for your efforts. I will move on to our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, ma'am. You did receive an email today from Ms. Kelly Hunter regarding headshots. So for those who are interested in getting those updated, if you can be here in this building between 4 and 5, we will do those for you. Those are professional headshots that we're having. We will update your photos not only on the website but also in City Hall as well. Also to remind you that this month we have a 5th Monday. So that means you do not have a meeting on July 31st. It also means that that previous week we do have light staff, so several staff members will be on vacation. It's the last week before school starts. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe school's back in the first week of August. So your first meeting, August 3rd and 7th, probably will be a fairly heavy meeting because we won't have met in a while. Also, just to remind you all regarding the committee discussion on transportation and SPLOST, if you could have your comments, I will send this to you in writing as well regarding the resurfacing list and the major projects that we're recommending. If you want to add or take anything off, if you can have this to us by August 31st, our next step would be to come to you with AECOM, with bid packaging and pricing together so you can authorize those projects to move forward. So anything to add or take off, welcome to hear those comments, and we'll bring that updated list to you. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Madam City Manager. And just for clarifying statement, if you want a new headshot, I'm not going to retake my picture. So if you're satisfied with the photo that we currently have on the website, then you can keep that one. But if you want to retake it, do another glamour shot, then you can come at 4. Did Ms. Hunter say 4 o'clock? Okay. Thank you. Okay, now the floor is open. Podium's available for anyone that still has survived and you want to have comments from citizens and delegates. You may come to the podium at this time and give your name and address for the record and give any statements that you would like.
I have one other item.
Oh, yes, sir. I
thought
apologize.
the city manager was going to mention it. This coming Sunday is the ice cream social.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm glad.
What time is that? Is that 3 to 5, I think?
That's correct.
In the county parking lot.
Until they run
out of ice cream.
Is
and
it going to
hopefully
be
no rain.
in Hunter Park
No.
because of Plaza? Where?
It's going to be in the parking lot next
like
to the old police station where the food trucks
Food
were.
Truck Mondays. Very good. We went last year and we ran out of ice cream really fast. Remember that?
Yeah. 3 to 5.
One thing I forgot to mention, Madam Mayor,
Sir?
that Food Truck Wednesday at the park is a big hit. Food trucks everywhere.
Oh, Wednesday as well. You're saying with
Wednesday,
Wednesday wind
yeah.
down. Okay.
That's going to continue?
Yes.
Very good. All right.
Madam Mayor,
yes,
just
ma'am.
wanted to say, this past Saturday with the unity in the community was really fun. I did not get on stage to lip sync with the mayor. I was too hot, but she did have a group. But I think next year, Madam Mayor, we'll be ready.
I did
right?
lip sync. I lip synced to Happy. It was
She
to
did.
Commissioner
Yes,
Mitchell.
and she had her
the
four top.
Solicitor Matthew
Matthew
Krul, and Tax Commissioner Baker. We were called the elected, and we came in second place. The winners was the DA's office.
Yeah, they were.
District Attorney Brian Fortner. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
really
They
organized.
threw
They
down.
practiced. So it was DA 3000,
Right.
and they were great.
They were great.
So it was a really nice event, really well attended in that heat. And I believe they gave out 1,000 or 1,200 backpacks for kids, and it was well supported at St. James AME with Pastor Hale. So thank you so much, Councilmember
Right.
Burdanley, for mentioning that. I'd forgotten.
Right. Yeah, it was at Pastor Hale's location. Golden had they donated food. I think Pastor Crumb's two
they
members were cooking hot dogs and they had a fish fry. So it was a lot of fun. I think this Saturday, the 15th, Golden is having an event at Wortham Park, which is this week. Not sure what time, but you can. Okay. All right. That's all I have.
And also, we were notified in our committee meeting that the plaza is going to be completed by the end of September.
Yes, sir, and we will be, Michelle Wright will probably be sending you all some information soon on ribbon cutting ceremonies for those activities. So we'll have several things that are coming up where we will open things up officially for the public. And that also includes the pavilion at Hunter Park as well. So you'll have a few things over the next few months that are opening that you'll get to cut ribbons for.
It'll be a little bit cooler.
Very nice. Great things happening in the city. Do we have any staff reports? No? Any other business to come before this body? Oh, I apologize. Please come forward. Comments from citizens and delegates?
Thank you, Mayor Robinson. I'm Andy Tatnall, Vice President and Director of Development for Northwest Metro Atlanta Habitat for Humanity. And I am honored to be here tonight representing not only the affiliate, but our CEO, David McGinnis, who is on vacation. I am requesting a letter of recommendation that we would like to attach from Mayor Robinson to a granting agency called CAHEC, which is the Community Affordable Housing Equity Corporation. This is something that we very much feel is going to latch on to our project known as Veterans Place. This is a project that we are anxious to get started. We have, of course, our former board members, Leslie Chu, Kip Berry, and Jimmy Haddle, anxious to get started, and our current board member, Frank Moran, and I are actively seeking financial sponsorships and grant sponsorship. And so with the mayor's help, we'd like to submit a grant application this month and would very much appreciate a letter of recommendation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, sir. If you would submit the information to our city clerk and our legal staff will look over, I'll be happy to support. I did see Mr. Berry today at the Atlanta Regional Commission, and he was anxious to get the project started. I know you've had some issues with water, but WSA, they're very efficient. So we're going to make certain that there wasn't any runoff in that subdivision, and that has been the holdup. But we anticipate that you all will get started August 1st, I believe he said. August 1st or September 1st.
As soon as we have the land disturbance permit, yes, that is correct. We are ready to go.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Mayor, may I address the citizen?
Yes.
Sir, when are you looking for, as part of that CDB application, a letter of support from the body or from the mayor, and when's the application deadline?
The deadline is the end of next week.
Oh.
And we would entertain a letter from the mayor or from the body, whichever is the most expeditious way to obtain the letter.
Would you, if he needs it next week, are
It's
you
gonna
all
be
comfortable
Monday.
with the support letter for the CDBG application coming from the mayor?
Well,
No one that I know of have come before us to ask for support letters as of today.
And we approved the Habitat for Humanity project for veterans. Where it's 6 homes, I believe.
8 homes,
8.
actually, Mayor
8.
Robinson, yes.
Ms. Littlefield, would this be something the mayor and council need to vote on, or is the consensus okay?
I won't know that until I see the letter and do a little bit of research. Why don't we start to work on that first thing tomorrow?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you asking to our city manager, are you asking because of the time restraints that it not be the body?
I'm asking because your last meeting is Monday and his application is Friday. So whether it's the body or the mayor, your opportunity, if you do have to vote, would be Monday night.
Oh, you mean like Friday, like this Friday?
No,
A week
next
from Friday?
A week from Friday, yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay.
The 22nd.
I think with there would be more strength if it was from the mayor and council. But I mean, I'm okay either way. I understand the time restraint, but it would be strength with the body, in my opinion.
All right. If you would send me, I'll give you my information, the information tomorrow. I'll have myself and the staff attorney will review it, and we'll have something for you all on Monday.
I have hard copies here I can leave with you and then send you electronic version
That
tomorrow.
works.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I didn't want to leave out anyone else. I apologize for that oversight. You didn't move fast enough. Okay, any other comments from citizens and delegates? If not, and we don't have any staff reports, there isn't any other business to come before this body. This meeting is adjourned.